I would say when they give a figure for 2020 or the middle figure, I think it's no longer a prediction, so it's still past tense. Okay, so really 2000, 2020 are both past tense, and the prediction is going to be in the future tense. That's it.
I did it, but
good.
I don't know how to, when I describe overview.
Well, your overview is okay. It's just that you use value instead of you said numbers and amount. So just describe it as in this case it's a value. In other graphs it might be a number. Okay, but in this case it's a value because when we talk about money we talk about value. Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look then. So all right, so that's so really what you've missed here is whatever the one in the middle is, dairy products. Right, okay, when it comes to 2020, among the three exports, the number of international tourism and, okay, then again, you're talking about the number, so I would just use value all the way through for this. And you know, I think people when it comes to task one questions, they're worried about always having to use synonyms. In the introduction, you have to use a synonym because you're supposed to paraphrase the question, so you've got to use synonyms. When it comes to the rest of the description, it's only by this time only say 140 words, 150 words. I wouldn't worry too much about using synonyms for the rest of the task, okay? Because it's short, you're dealing with numbers, you run the risk of confusing people by using a different synonym each time, and people think, are you still talking about the same thing? So I would just I would use values all the way through. In this case, I would use value all the way through it.
If I get rid of the number of the value of something, can I, is it possible?
How do you get rid of the value of something?
Just international tourism and...
Oh, you mean, okay. Well, let me read through the first. Let me get to the end of it first. Okay, so when it comes to in 2020. Okay, when it comes to 2020. Not to in, when it comes to. So that doesn't need to be there. Among the three exports, the value of international tourism and dairy products, okay, not have been. Just have, okay, have increased. Have increased. The figures are around 9 billion pounds and under 10 billion pounds. Okay, relatively. ...2020. Okay, but okay. So rather than saying relatively, 9 and under 10 billion pounds. Okay, so for tourism.
I mean, respectively.
Yes, I know. That's what I was just going to say. Yes, for tourism and dairy, respectively. It's clear that the number of meat products has been slightly increased. Meat products increased? Doesn't it decrease all the way through?
Meat products.
Oh, sorry. It's clear that the number of meat has been slightly decreased. Sorry, you're right. Yes. Okay, it's clear that the number of has been. Okay, has not been. You've got a lot of beans in here that you don't need. You don't need beans.
Okay.
Has slightly decreased at 5.5 billion pounds in 2020. Okay. All right. I'm just a little bit curious here. You haven't mentioned the figures for 2000 at all. You've started in 2020 and then looked at 2025, but you've completely ignored 2000.
So, in 2000, the figure was 5, but the figure was has increased at 9 or something. That the number. I have to say the figures.
Yeah.
In the fest.
So okay. So what I would do here is I mean, your introduction is mostly okay. Your overview is mostly okay, but you could have added a little bit more in there about dairy products. In my first main paragraph, what I would do is describe, basically in one sentence, each of the exports. I would say what happened to international tourism, 2020, 2000, 2020, 2025. I would do this. I would do another sentence for dairy products and another one for meat products. Okay. I would just say that they rose from to this figure. It rose and fell for dairy products. It mostly fell for meat products from this figure down to this figure. Okay. I would give 3 sentences, one for each one, and that would be my third or my first main paragraph. In my final paragraph, I would start comparing each of them with the other. So I would compare, overall, I would compare the value of international tourism against dairy products, and I would compare both of those. I would talk about both of those collectively, saying that they're overall they're increasing from the start. And then I would the comparison, the major comparison. If you look at the graph, the major comparison is that meat products is smaller to begin with, and it keeps on getting smaller. So that's basically using descriptive words. That's what I would put in my third paragraph. So that international tourism is growing or has grown and will continue to grow. Dairy products grew dramatically from 2000 to 2020 and fell back slightly in 22, or is predicted to fall back slightly in 2025, but overall is predicted to still grow compared to 2000. Meanwhile, meat products was the smallest to begin with and has continued to fall and is predicted to fall into the future. So first of all, describe them individually in detail, and then describe them by comparing them against each other. Because really, that's normally what they say. Although, funnily enough, in this question they don't. It's strange. Normally, in a task 1 question, they normally say summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. That's normally in every single question. It was in the previous question. It's normally in every single question. So that's why I say don't give them. If you're talking about line graphs or bar graphs, don't tell them every single point along the way. They want to know main features and comparisons. They want to have comparisons. Okay, so let's have a look at this final paragraph of yours. Slightly decreased at 5. Yeah, okay, so in the case of again, you've got in the case of 2025. It is noticeable that the number of meat products Yeah, you see the problem with that is it isn't the number of meat products. What is a meat product? Let's say a meat product is a pie. Do you know what a pie is?
Pie?
Have you ever had a meat pie when you were in America?
Meat pie? Like I don't know.
Okay, it is a product. Okay, let's see if I can find a picture of a meat pie. Very nice looking pictures of meat pies here. Okay, these are meat pies. It makes my mouth water just to look at them. They look delicious.
Mm.
Okay, so a pie, you can see it's got meat in it. It's got pastry on the top and around it. So that is a pie. That would be a meat product. Okay, a product made of meat. So the problem is if you're saying about the number of meat products, you're actually describing the number of pies. Okay, that's why it's incorrect. It has to be the value, not the number. Yeah. So again, it's the value of the meat products. So if you've got the value, if you're already saying the value, you don't need to say the figure afterwards because value and figure basically mean the same thing. Okay, so you don't need figure because you've got value. So okay, so it is noticeable that the value of meat products will be halved compared to the figure of the internet. Okay, you don't need the international, the figure of international tourism, and you've given the figures, but you haven't given the figures, have you? No, you've said what are the figures that you've given there? 15,9.9. In 2025, is that right? No.
To 2025.
But the value of the meat products in 2025 is actually 5 billion.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so so I don't know where you got the 15 either. Where's the 15? It's 10, isn't it? It's below 10 and exactly 5. All right. So those numbers are incorrect.
Why is that?
Okay. Also the number, okay, the value of
10,
internet.
yeah.
Of international tourism is going to increase as much as the amount of dairy products of 2020. Okay. Okay. So if you'd have put the value in against that one for both of them, which is just under 10 billion pounds. So the value is as much as the amount as much as I dot E dot just under 10. Pound. Okay, so all right, so let's have a look at this thing here. So the score of dice, we don't need to put any of that in there anymore because you're paying very good attention to that now. Right, okay, so answering the question. Have you answered the question? So how many words was it? Let's say it was 163. Let's give you the benefit of the doubt there. It was very close. So 163 words. Okay, but you've lost a few. So how many have you actually lost? Each incorrect word takes away from your score. You see, this is why. So numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So take 12 off 163, you're at 151 words. So yes, you've achieved the task. Okay, and you've described what you can see. So let's say 6.5 for that. Linking, well, the layout of it, the layout is very good. So let's say that's 7. Vocabulary. Okay, now vocabulary is a problem here because you've used numbers and amounts instead of values. So that is important. Much less popular rather than the smallest. Those things where I've changed the words are a problem. So let's just say 6. Grammar. Yeah, you're like where you've said have been increased and to in has slightly decreased. So there are a number of tenses, really, isn't it? So correct. So let's say 6 for that as well. So I mean that's going to be a 6.5 overall. So not bad, not bad. I know it looks like a lot of corrections, but it's, I mean, again, if you look at it, no, but if you look across it, it looks, oh, there's so much green, so much crossing out. But actually, if you look at it, it's the same mistake repeated. So it's not as bad as it looks because if you'd have got that right, that's a whole lot of things that would have been that would have been correct in the essay. Okay, so it's, you know, you just need to look at the mistake you've made and learn from it. Okay. And you will continue to improve. So, right, okay, so let's have a look at this. We've got time. Yes, we have got time very quickly to have a quick look anyway. So what's this one about? This is about suffering from health problems. So fast food, this is the fast food one, and high attacks. Okay. Right, so how many words was this one? This one is 266. Okay. But it took you an hour. All right. Okay, so it is true that a number of people struggle with not their healthy problems, so health problems. So it is caused by eating too much junk food, although many people argue that it is necessary for the government to impose a higher tax on. Fast food, I totally disagree with it. First of all, it is clear that eating junk food is problematic. Most people prefer fast food instead of healthy food, such as organic food and a balanced diet. This is because they put convenience on a higher priority than health. For example, the government impose For example, the government impose higher tax with instant food people use to eat junk food, thus they might. So are you saying in the future, for example, in the future, if the government imposes, is that what you're saying?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so
Right.
your tense is wrong here because you're saying impose. Okay, if.
They are not yet imposed the tax.
No, right, okay. Ah, right, okay. What's going on here then? If the government, like the government impose higher tax with instant food, people use past tense to eat junk food. Thus, they might be consume a lot of money for fast food. Therefore, if the price of junk food goes higher, they might not control their eating tendency. Okay, you've lost me completely with your logic in that one. This is because they put convenience. That's okay. Up to there, it's fine. The government. Is this past tense or present or future? I don't understand what all of this here is very confusing in terms of the tenses that you're actually describing.
If the government impose higher tax with instant food,
In the future.
uh-uh.
Okay.
People tend to eat junk food, thus they might be consume a lot of money for fast food. Therefore, it could be they happen, which is if the price of junk food is higher, they might not control their eating tendency.
Okay, but that's where the logic breaks down in what you're saying. If the whole point of putting a tax on it is that you make the price higher, and when you make the price higher, people think, well, it's too expensive now. I'll eat something else. I'll eat something healthier.
They already are used to their eating habits, so people cannot stop fast food.
Well, but
even expensive.
But okay, you're entitled to your opinion, but just think, this is what governments have used all around the world to stop people with any kind of unhealthy appetites or habits. So things like gambling, yeah, even gambling. Like in the UK, when you gamble, the government takes a huge slice of your winnings in taxes because they want to discourage you from gambling, and it's easy money for the government. If it comes to gasoline for the cars, in Europe, something like 80% of the price of the gasoline is taxes. So that you're actually paying 20 cents on the dollar for gasoline and 80 cents on the dollar for taxes to discourage people from driving their own cars, to make them instead use public transport. That's what they're trying to force people to do. So governments always use high taxes to push people away from unhealthy habits. Same with alcohol. The price of alcohol is very high because of health taxes. Same with fast food. They put a lot of tax on fast food to persuade people to buy fresh food, which they don't tax. So they make fresh food cheaper. So what you're saying there is, if the government imposes a higher tax, people are used to eating junk food, yes. Thus, they will consume a lot. Okay, so they're going to spend their money faster. Yes, that's true. Therefore, the price of junk food goes higher. They might not control their. So are you saying that they're going to starve? The word starve would have been very helpful. Okay, now I understand what you're saying. So for example, if the government imposes a higher tax on, it's always a tax on.
Okay.
Instant food. People who are used to eating okay, we don't need junk food. All right, we don't need this thus. Let's get rid of that. Might consume their money much faster on Therefore, if the price of junk food goes higher, they might. Okay, so this was what lost me completely here. They might not control their eating tendency. Let's just say, in dramatic terms, therefore they might starve or suffer malnutrition. Well, actually, they're already suffering malnutrition because they're eating garbage. But okay. Yes, are we agreed?
Okay.
Right. So, secondly, the government have to find has to find different ways to prevent increased fast food. Okay, well, prevent increased fast food consumption. Teenagers are the prime consumers for convenience meals, so it is more important to campaign how dangerous how okay how these cause metabolic disease
affects their body. No. It is more important to campaign how these cause metabolic disease.
Well, I would say compared to healthy food. Let's keep it simple. Compared to healthy food. For example, if students know about heart disease or immune disease, they can think more seriously about fast food. Okay, about the impacts of fast food. So schools should be taught how to stay, either to keep healthy or stay healthy, not keep stay.
Stay healthy.
Well, schools, okay, should be taught. Well, schools should be rather than taught. How about should be teaching?
Teaching
how to stay healthy. Also, the government should remove vending. Vending machines from each school. It could be one of the main reasons students want to eat fast food as a meal at school. To sum up, it is evident that the government should focus on advertising the importance of eating habits and educating younger generations rather than simply charging a higher tax on food. Okay, all right. I mean, actually, the essay, the introduction and your first paragraph were very good up to there. It was really those two sentences that were very confused. The next two sentences there were very confused.
Okay.
The next paragraph, apart from that one word consumption, consumers, okay, it was okay. Really, it was the next paragraph was okay up to there, but then it was just, again, it just got too complicated. Your sentences got too complicated, really. And really, maybe one of the problems here is that sentence there is too long. How long is that sentence? Let's have a look. It's about 36 words. That's why it's got a problem. So keep your sentences to 20 words, and then you won't have so many problems with them. It was the middle of that one. The middle of that paragraph got a little bit confused. The rest of that paragraph actually, apart from some small changes, is not too bad. It's really not too bad. And then your summary is fine. So really, it was sort of here and here where you had the problems. Apart from that, the rest of the essay is actually fine. Actually, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good essay, just let down by detail in those two places there. Okay, but actually pretty good essays, and a big improvement in task 1. Big improvement. You're improving. It's getting better. Believe me, it's getting better.
Okay,
all right.
Thank you.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye. So if you found this IELTS class useful, informative, or entertaining, please give it a like, subscribe, and share with other people who you think might benefit from these live IELTS class videos using actual examination topics. Most of the students participating in these classes are now living their dream in English-speaking countries around the world. If you want classes with me, you can contact me on X, LinkedIn, MS Teams, or Viber. Details are given in the description below or on the About page for this channel. Thank you.